And I'd like to tell you a little bit, some things about Rotary that you may not know, and how Rotary operates, what we are. And quite frankly, the reason I like to do a presentation like this is I found out that I really didn't realize what I really truly belonged to until I got on the board of directors of Rotary International. So I'm going to start off with some basics. And basically, what we have in the world of Rotary is we have 1.2 million Rotarians. Everybody knows that. Bless you. We've been stuck at that 1.2 million for about 15 years. We haven't moved. We have shifted, but we haven't moved. The United States has been dropping in membership, and other parts of the area have been increasing dramatically. And so if you think of what happens is those 1.2 million are put into around 36,000 clubs. You'd be surprised, every quarter we would get a list of new clubs added or new clubs go away. And I can say that we would normally get 200, 300 clubs added every quarter, and maybe another 200, 300 clubs dissolve. And so it's a moving target at all times. Everybody says, well, how many clubs you got? Well, if I tell you an answer now, it's going to change in a second. So it moves that quick. So all of those clubs are put into 536 districts in the world. And the 536 districts in the world are put into 34 zones in the world. And that is how Rotary International is organized. Those 34 zones in the world select a director every 2 years to serve on the board of directors of Rotary International. So if you do the math, how many directors are on the board of directors of Rotary? This is not difficult. This is really not difficult. There's 17. So there's 17 members of the board, plus you've also got the president is a member of the board, and the president-elect is a member of the board. In my second year serving as a director, I happened to be on the golf course. And those of you that are golfers, you remember certain shots on certain golf courses. Why? Because we're sick. That's just the way we operate. And I can remember I was on a course that was very difficult. It's the first time I'd ever put the ball down the middle of the fairway on that particular course. And I was 161 yards out to the hole over a lake. And I was playing golf with another Rotarian, by the way. And all of a sudden my phone rang. And he looked at me and I said, it's from Evanston, Illinois. And he said, don't answer it. I said, oh, jeez. And all of a sudden it was a lady named Rosemary. Well, Rosemary happens to be the secretary of President-elect at that time, President-elect Robbie from Sri Lanka. And Rosemary made it very clear. She said, the president would like you in his office tomorrow. I said, well, that's interesting. And she says, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm playing golf. And she said, the president would like you in his office tomorrow, and we have booked a 6 a.m. flight for you. And I knew I was in trouble. I truly knew I was in trouble. And I caught my 6 a.m. flight, flew back to Evanston, and President Robbie somehow was tracking where I was. And I'm not sure how he did that. But when I got off the elevator on the 18th floor, he said, come. And that was the way that he communicated. Very, very quick, very deliberate. And he said, sit down. And he said, young man, do you happen to know why you're sitting in my office? And I said, I'm here because your secretary booked a flight for me. That's why I'm here. He says, well, I'm going to get to the point. You are my vice president. And I went, oh, God. I didn't even know what a vice president did. And then he said, well, let me give you your job descriptions. There was like about 10 items, and he added about 6 onto the bottom. And the very first item is, you will serve at the pleasure of the president. And it went down from there. So what I'd like to do is kind of walk through what it's like to be a board, and why I'm doing that, a board member. What I'd like for you to do is think of questions that you really want to ask. And it can be anything. There are no dumb questions. You can ask anything you want to about the foundation. You can ask anything about Rotary, what's going on, challenges we have. You just think of all the questions that you would like to ask, and I will do my very, very best to answer those questions. And if I don't, I'll give you my card. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right? And I can tell you that the president frowns on it very, very quickly if you're not prepared when you walk in there. You're representing Rotary International, and you better do your homework. We had our board member one time that started talking about an issue that we had voted on 2 items back. And he was truly scolded, if you will, right there in front of everybody. Because we take it very seriously. The board meetings, as you can imagine, are very, very formal. And they have to be because of the cultures that are involved in it. And one of the other things that we have is over on the right-hand side of the board meeting is a large bank of offices. And they're very, very small, very, very tiny offices. There are probably about 15 of them. And inside those offices are 2 people. You can't imagine getting 2 people in those little offices. But that's where all of the translators are for all of the languages that are being spoken in the boardroom. And what's amazing to me, and I wish I could see their Excel spreadsheet. Being a CPA, you love that stuff. But I'd love to see how you figure out what people you need to translate from Japanese to Portuguese, Portuguese to Italian, Italian to all the other different languages. I just don't know how they do it. But it is an amazing, amazing organization. And so we spend a lot of time with headsets on our particular head to be able to understand the languages that are being spoken. Behind us, on each end, are around 30 of the high-level staffs of Rotary International. And they're to support us in regard to what's going on and some of the issues that we're dealing with. We've also got very large monitors that are inside of the board table that are all PowerPoints are presented, and that's how we basically structure it. Some of the things that I will share with you, then I'll open it up to questions. I'd rather do that than give you all these kind of things. You'd be surprised at some of the issues that you would have to deal with. There are issues that sometimes are very disturbing. And one of the things that I got mostly disturbed about were all the lawsuits that we deal with at Rotary International. We run one of the most complicated, largest exchange programs in the world. As a result of sending young adults all over the world, you can imagine that we have, unfortunately, some inappropriate behavior that happens in regard to some of our youth exchange. In fact, one of the youth exchange lawsuits that we have right now that's been going on for about 6 years right now. There was a young lady, an exchange student, that was back, and she was in Portland, Oregon. In fact, my wife and I were back in Portland the day that this happened. The exchange students were taken by their exchange parents to this club, if you will, for young adults. And some knucklehead came by with a machine gun and mowed down kids. And one of the things that we've got right now on our plate is a very healthy lawsuit from the parents. You know, why didn't you protect my child? Why did you take her to this particular area? And so you just realize that you've got a very, very complex business that is doing a lot of things that can cause us a lot of liability. The other liabilities that we get, believe it or not, are lawsuits, and lawsuits from Rotarians. And we have certain parts of the world that when an individual is not selected to a particular position in Rotary, that the first thing that they do is they sue Rotary International. And so we deal, and I will tell you, it's probably 100 lawsuits a year. And you would be surprised. My email, fortunately or unfortunately, is now scattered throughout the world. So I get emails from, you can't believe how many times I've won $10 million, but that's another one. But I got this email from this lady in the Philippines, and her club refused, you will love this, her club refused to make her the president of the Rotary Club. And she sued Rotary because the club would not make her president. And she got my email and she's asking me to represent her at the board meeting. Well, I'm not going to do that. We also had another one that I'll just share with you that was hilarious. I didn't think it was very funny, but we had this this guy, and he wanted to be a district governor in his district. And so he put his name in, and when you put your name in to be a district governor, you have to have your Rotary Club sign off that you are in good standings with the Rotary Club. Now, in the United States, that's fairly simple. We don't have any of those kind of issues. Well, his club refused to sign off on his piece of paper. So he went to another Rotary Club, and they refused to sign off on his piece of paper. So he went and formed his own Rotary Club. And he made up 30 fictitious names, and the fictitious Rotary Club nominated him for district governor. And he really didn't see a problem with that. And the only way that Rotary International picked up on it is they started calling some of the people that were listed as members of the club. And they'd say, you know, hey, John, how do you like your Rotary Club? He says, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a member of Rotary. And it all of a sudden came with it. You'd be surprised. One last story that I'll share with you. One time, President Robbie was a very, very impatient individual, and he delegated a lot of things to me. I ended up doing all of the agendas for the board. I ended up running the board a lot of times because he simply didn't want to, and which is fine. And one time we were taking a break, and when we were standing up, the General Secretary of Rotary International looked at me and says, Mr. President and Greg, I have an issue that I'd like to share with you that I need some counsel on. And so we stood up, and John Yuko looked at us and said, we've got this man in Pakistan that wants to be a district governor. And they will not elect him to be a district governor. And he has written us a letter that says that if Rotary doesn't make him a district governor, he is going to set himself on fire. And so the president looked at me and said, Greg, you take this one. I'm going to get some tea. And John Yuko looked at me and said, well, what do we do? And I said, John, come on now. And he said, well, we'll figure out something. And I don't know whatever happened to that guy. I really don't. But, it's very complicated. I just want to say it's very complicated to run an organization with 1.2 million type A personalities. Not easy. But I can tell you we had a lot of laughs. The president and I became extremely, extremely good friends. We laughed a lot. A lot of you that would have seen the picture of him, he never, ever, ever smiled. Never. You saw it. He never smiled. That's not his culture. Well, he and I laughed all the time. Laughed all the time. And so I really enjoyed the position. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that it's over. And it was a very, very difficult time. So let me open it up for questions. And all questions are fair.